On March 26, 2025, the European Union released its first official preparedness strategy, urging citizens across its member states to stockpile at least 72 hours worth of food, water, and essential supplies. This announcement wasn't just about natural disasters or military conflict. It was a wider warning. The EU is telling its people that we are entering a time of instability, unpredictability, and potential crisis.
So Europe is getting ready for war and it wants its citizens to prepare too. Brussels has issued guidelines for all 450 million Europeans. 450 million people across all 27 member states. Every household has been asked to maintain a survival kit to stock up on things like bottled water, canned food, a torch, and basic supplies like toilet paper.
One of the driving forces behind this heightened sense of urgency is the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. What began in 2022 as an invasion has become a prolonged and grinding conflict with ripple effects far beyond Eastern Europe. This war has shaken the foundation of global peace, crippled economies, and revealed just how vulnerable modern systems truly are. Millions have been displaced, energy prices have soared, and nations are now rethinking their security, trade, and emergency preparedness strategies. The war has become a constant reminder that we are no longer living in peacetime normalcy. The age of global shaking has begun.
Brussels wants Europeans to be ready for anything. A war, cyber attacks, extreme weather events like floods or wildfires, even a major disease outbreak. Europeans must be self-sufficient, at least for the first 72 hours of any crisis. That is the key message.
In Matthew 24:7-8, Jesus warned us, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All these are the beginning of sorrows." The beginning of sorrows is exactly what we are seeing. Political instability, natural disasters, pandemics, wars, economic tremors, and now global governments quietly preparing for events that could shake the very fabric of life. The fact that the EU is telling its citizens to prepare is not something to dismiss. It's a confirmation, another sign, that we are living in days the Bible spoke about thousands of years ago. But the call to prepare goes deeper for the believer. It's not just about what's in your cupboards, but what's in your heart. The world's version of preparation is to stock up on food and water. That's not wrong. In fact, Proverbs 6:6-8 speaks of the ant who stores its food in summer for the winter. Wisdom includes practical readiness, but the believer knows there is another kind of preparation. The Bible warns not just of temporary disasters, but of eternal consequences. The world is preparing for 72 hours of chaos. The church should be preparing for the final hour. Jesus said in Luke 21:34-36, "And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Watch ye therefore, and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man." This is a spiritual warning. Be alert, be awake, be ready. When God told Noah a flood was coming, the world continued as if nothing was wrong. Jesus said in Matthew 24:37-39, "But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." The same is happening today. People go to work, laugh at memes, plan vacations, completely unaware that prophecy is unfolding right in front of their eyes. The world is sleepwalking into judgment. And just as Noah's ark was a place of safety, Jesus is our ark today. The door is still open. but it won't stay open forever.
The world is changing rapidly, and the tensions between nations are palpable. Headlines scream of wars and rumors of wars, and the shadow of global conflict looms larger than it has in decades. Across the globe, people are gripped by a growing, tangible fear. A fear that the world is hurtling toward World War III. The air is thick with unease, and the possibility of nuclear war is no longer just a distant theoretical concern. It feels closer, more imminent, and more real than ever before. Recent news reports paint an alarming picture. Governments are issuing warnings, global powers are arming themselves with devastating weapons, and world leaders are making decisions that could change the course of history. The fragility of peace is evident. People are on edge, holding their breath, wondering if the next major conflict will involve weapons capable of catastrophic destruction. Many are asking, what happens if the unthinkable occurs? Will the world survive a nuclear war? And should Christians be worried? Among the many conflicts and tensions worldwide, the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia has taken center stage.
Overnight, Russia unleashing a vicious barrage of drones and missiles across Ukraine. Videos circulating online capturing the moment of some of these strikes. More than 400 drones and 40 missiles launched from Russia in this latest assault, leaving several dead and many more injured. Explosions rocking Kyiv as the Ukrainian air defenses combat the incoming attack. 4 people were killed in Kyiv during the attacks, 20 injured.
Every new development signals an intensifying conflict, drawing more nations into its orbit and raising the stakes exponentially. The threat of nuclear retaliation is no longer hypothetical. It is real. To understand the gravity of the situation, one must consider the sheer destructive potential of nuclear weapons. Russia leads the world with over 5,500 nuclear warheads, followed closely by the United States with 5,044. Together, these two nations alone possess enough firepower to destroy the world many times over.
Well, the Russians have got a lot of nuclear weapons, 5,500 nuclear warheads, and it's more than the Americans have got, but they've got several thousand as well.
Their arsenals are scattered across the globe, with American warheads hosted in countries like Turkey, Italy, Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands. U.S. President Donald Trump has often warned about the unparalleled danger of nuclear weapons. Speaking candidly, he has described them as humanity's greatest threat, capable of ending civilization as we know it. Trump has emphasized how far nuclear technology has advanced since the end of World War II.
But we have a bigger problem. The bigger problem is the weaponry. The weaponry today is so powerful. This isn't like Second World War where we have army tanks running around shooting each other. This is weapons the likes of which the world has never seen before. They have them and we have them.
To put this into perspective, consider the Tsar Bomba, detonated by the Soviet Union in 1961. This bomb, the most powerful nuclear weapon ever tested, had a yield of 50 megatons, 3,300 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Yes, you heard that correctly. The Tsar Bomba is 3,300 times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. Its explosion created a shockwave that circled the globe 3 times. The destruction caused by such a bomb is almost beyond human comprehension. Now imagine this. The arsenals of the US and Russia contain thousands of such weapons, many even more advanced. The mere thought of their use can leave even the most optimistic person filled with dread. In times like these, fear is a natural response. Yet as Christians, we are called to a different perspective. The Bible provides clarity and assurance in moments of uncertainty, and chaos. Time and time again, God's Word reminds us that we should not fear. In Matthew 24:6, Jesus gives this instruction, "And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." These words carry profound weight. Jesus foresaw the fears that would grip humanity during times of war and rumors of wars. Yet he instructs his followers not to be troubled. Why? Because everything is unfolding according to God's divine plan. Nothing catches God by surprise. You do not know the future, but God does. You are not in control, but God is. What are you afraid of? Do not let the sensationalism of the media leave you troubled and full of dread. The word from Jesus to you today is, "And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not troubled." From a biblical perspective, a full-scale nuclear war that annihilates humanity does not align with the events prophesied in Scripture. Even a relatively small nuclear exchange involving 100 to 200 warheads would cause catastrophic consequences. Nuclear winter, ecological collapse, global famine, and societal breakdown. Yet the Bible does not describe the end of the world as a chaotic annihilation. Instead, it speaks of a controlled period of judgment during the Great Tribulation. The Great Tribulation, described in Matthew 24, verses 21 and 22, and throughout the book of Revelation, will indeed be a time of unparalleled suffering. However, even in this period of judgment, God sets limits on the scale of destruction. Consider Jesus' words in Matthew 24, verses 21 and 22. "For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened." This passage reveals a critical truth. While calamities will escalate during the end times, God will intervene to preserve humanity. Revelation 6:8 and Revelation 9:15 further emphasize this point, showing that God controls the scale and timing of judgments. Revelation 6:8. "And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth." Revelation 9:15. "And the four angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the third part of men." The overarching theme is clear. God is in control, even in the midst of chaos. If God were not sovereign over history, humanity would have destroyed itself long ago. The existence of nuclear weapons is a sobering reminder of humanity's capacity for destruction. Yet even the most powerful weapons and the most ambitious plans of wicked leaders are constrained by God's will. Throughout history, God has demonstrated his sovereignty over nations and rulers. Proverbs 21:1 reminds us, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He directs it like a watercourse wherever he pleases." Even Satan, the god of this world, operates under divine constraints. In the story of Job, Satan could only act within the boundaries set by God. This same principle applies to world events today. Though the world seems chaotic, God's purposes remain unshaken. The Great Tribulation is still to come. This period, described in Revelation chapter 6 to 19, will be marked by unprecedented judgments, but it will not result in the total destruction of humanity. Instead, it will be a time when God's justice, mercy, and sovereignty are displayed on a global scale. Christians can take comfort in knowing that the end of history is not in the hands of human leaders or nuclear weapons. It is firmly in the hands of God. No matter what the leaders in your nation decide, no matter what policies they enact or alliances they form, do not be troubled. Their authority, no matter how significant it seems, is temporary and ultimately subordinate to the sovereign will of God. The news may attempt to instill fear, sensationalizing every decision, amplifying every crisis, and creating an atmosphere of uncertainty. Yet, as believers, we are called to fix our eyes not on the chaos of this world, but on the eternal promises of God. Do not be troubled, for the one who created the heavens and the earth holds your future securely in his hands. The Great Tribulation, as described in Revelation chapter 6 to 19, will indeed be a time of unprecedented judgments. But it is crucial to remember that it is part of God's redemptive plan for humanity. It is not a period of aimless destruction or chaos. Instead, it is a season where God's justice, mercy, and sovereignty will be displayed for all to see. Even amid the trials of that time, God's hand will remain firmly on the wheel of history. Every event will serve His ultimate purpose of redemption and restoration. This truth should bring profound comfort. The end of history is not in the hands of world leaders, governments, or even the most devastating weapons humanity can devise. It is firmly and irrevocably in the hands of God.